क्या आप आईएएस की तैयारी कर रहे हैं और कोचिंग इंस्टीट्यूट्स को 2.5 लाख तक की फीस नहीं पे करना चाहते? अगर हाँ, तो 22,500 रुपए में घर बैठ के StudyIQ के पेनड्राइव कोर्स के साथ आप आईएएस की तैयारी कर सकते हैं। आज ही विजिट करें StudyIQ.com।
A very good morning to all my dear friends. I am Prashant Pavani. I hope you all are doing good. Let's start and let's talk about hope. Hope is being able to see that there is light despite all of the darkness. This has been said by Desmond Tutu, and I think about hope is that if you lose hope, you lose everything. That's what an Arabic proverb says, and this is very right as well. And we need to believe this thing, even if we are going through our worst phase. We all go through ups and downs. So if we are feeling good now, there is going to be bad moments as well. So it's fine, right? They come and go. Just remember that everything will be all right at the end of the day. With this, the first item that we have is this managing perception. It is about perception. Perception. You can have your own perception about one thing, and I would be thinking about the same thing from a totally different angle, and that's what happened with this SC/ST Prevention of Atrocities Act, when Supreme Court said that there are few people out there who are blackmailing other people by using some stringent laws that we have, or some clauses that are a bit stringent when it comes to this SC/ST Prevention of Atrocities Act. Now we have this, our society is a society of paradox, isn't it? We have this opposites that we find in our society. We have on one side we have SC/ST people who are doing their own business, right? Hardworking people, people with aspiration that they want to achieve good education, good health, a good quality of life for their kids. And yes, we know this thing as well. This thing is reality, that there are few people out there in our society who are treating people coming from this SC/ST community. They are being treated very badly by a few people. We find this type of items in news as well. Many a times there are very famous examples available on internet, on news, on various different media. So not going into all those examples and matters. So this is a dark reality. On the other side, there are few people who belong to this SC/ST category, and they have misused, right? They have misused this SC/ST. An act that is supposed to provide them protection has been misused. And I'm not saying everyone is using it, but there are 0.% people who have misused it, and it is a matter of concern for the Supreme Court, because for Supreme Court, everyone is equal. Now, of course, Supreme Court will never do anything that will dilute this SC/ST Act, but that's what this perception is all about. Supreme Court did say it, or used a word called may rather than using the word must. The Supreme Court clarified this thing, but we know that there are people out there, opportunistic people out there, who will make the most out of any controversy, or they will make controversy out of something that is not that clear, rather than seeking clarity on this thing. There are few people who created this sort of a turbulent environment, and we saw big protest in our country when Supreme Court tried to take a stand on this, or tried to protect those people who are victim of this blackmail. Now, of course, we have discussed about this thing earlier on, that even today we don't have a proper data regarding why so many cases are filed and why this conviction ratio is very low, conviction rate is very low. So we need to go through proper data as far as this conviction rate is concerned. But people never paid attention to this May thing. They paid, this was said that Supreme Court has made it mandatory, but that is not right. And now Union Cabinet, one of the main reason why this particular item is in news, it was in news yesterday, but today we find it in this editorial section, because Union Cabinet has decided that it is going to amend the provisions of SC/ST Prevention of Atrocities Act. And it has decided to do it as soon as possible. In fact, in today's newspaper, you find this statement coming from Home Minister. Home Minister has said that he is going to make sure that these amendments take place in this ongoing monsoon session of Parliament. And the reason is that on August 9th, 2018, that is 6 days after where we are at present. It was decided that there will be a nationwide shutdown, and so to avoid this shutdown, and earlier on we have seen this very horrific protests took place. So many people died, so much property was damaged and things like that. So all these things took place in recent past, so we don't want to see a repetition of this thing, and the government has in fact assured that it is going to make sure that this 3 new laws, you can say, whether they are new laws said by Supreme Court, or whether there is you can say a sort of lack of communication, or lack of understanding, or this wrong perception about these 3 things. Now, of course, the point number 2 is a thing that will require a little bit of change, but let me take you through first of all this point number 1. It talks about bar on anticipatory bail. Now, what anticipatory bail is all about? When we were under this British Raj, there was nothing called anticipatory bail. Anticipatory bail means that before arresting you, or before throwing you behind those bars, you can seek a bail. So without going into jail, you can ask for a bail, and this is what we call this anticipatory bail. This facility was not available under British rule, and it was decided during when we were framing our laws and updating our laws after independence. We decided as a country that we need to have this anticipatory bail thing in our system, because fake cases, it's not something that is taking place now. It used to take earlier on as well. So a fake case against a person can tarnish his or her image, and Supreme Court in this Gurubaksh Singh Sibba case, there is a case, if you Google it, you will find out that Gurubaksh Singh Sibba case, Supreme Court clarified this thing, that this anticipatory bail is of course about protecting personal liberty of an individual, but it is not a part of fundamental, means personal liberty is of course fundamental. When we talk about anticipatory bail, it is for supporting or promoting this personal liberty, but that does not mean that this anticipatory bail is a fundamental right. No, it's totally based on discretion of judges. Based on cases, judges will decide whether you will get anticipatory bail or not. So I hope this thing is clear to you now. Now, what government is trying to do is government is trying to put a bar. That means government is trying to drop this anticipatory bail clause that we find here, right? That means the bar on anticipatory bail under the Act need not prevent courts from granting advance bail if there is no merit in a complaint. That's what something was said by Supreme Court, but now the government wants to drop this anticipatory bail altogether. The second thing is Supreme Court talked about this thing too, that if if a case has been filed against, or if someone is trying to file a case against a public servant, then before arresting that public servant, police needs to have a green signal from appointing authority. And when it comes to a common man, a person who is not a government employee, for that person, this green signal should be given by superintendent of police. So this was a thing that was, and of course I agree with this thing, that when you add this sort of layer, right, it will make things a bit more lengthy. But at the same time, we have to think about it. If arrests are made, then this can create problems for public servants. You know how it works. They're confidential report, and it takes ages for them to come back, and it will ruin their career. So we need to have fine balance at the end of the day. That's the main thing here. That's what we are trying to achieve here, that we need to have a fine balance. We need to protect all those vulnerable sections of our society. At the same time, we have to make sure that all those people who are misusing it are not able to misuse it. And the third thing is, again, very important, right? Preliminary inquiry into complaints. There should be. Now, this is not taken very well, right? As I told you, the difference between may and must. The Supreme Court said that if this police personnel, if they think that something fishy is going on, then they should first go through this preliminary inquiry before registering this FIR. So that's what Supreme Court said, but it was taken a bit differently by a few people, of course, for political agenda. And then we know the history, right? Youngsters came out thinking that everything will go away from them, or everything is being snatched away from them, but that is not right. Now this amendments, of course, will be discussed and introduced in the parliament, so we will wait and watch, and I'm sure we are going to find more articles on this item. Moving on to another item, this is about discounting logic. It's about e-commerce. Now a panel was constituted by this Ministry of Commerce, and this panel has prepared this draft of National Policy on Electronic Commerce, that is e-commerce. And this draft policy will be studied by 70-member think tank chaired by Suresh Prabhu. If we go through, means I don't have to say, I'm sure we all are aware about these things, right? E-commerce is a thing that is very new. It is very easy. It is very easy. It is very convenient. You don't have to even step out of your house. There are so many things, right? There are so many things that you cannot buy in your local town or in your city. But these things are easily available on e-commerce platform. I'll give you one example. The pen that I'm using, right, to highlight these things. This pen I cannot find in my town or in my city, right? I have been everywhere. Then if you go to online, then you will be able to find it. So this is just a simple example. So just imagine if we were not having this e-commerce, then we want to be using this sort of facilities, isn't it? So there are so many things that has been, means it has opened new windows for not only this business people, but also for consumers. We have more options now, and that is a thing in open market. That's what we want. We need more options. At present, the size of this e-tail, that is retail, electronic retail, is $25 billion, which is not a small amount. But when you compare it with brick companies, you have brick companies like physical shops that we find, and then you have this click companies. Of course, when we say click, we are talking about Walmart and Flipkart, and we have seen this big merger as well. Not merger, but takeover. Walmart is a big American company. This company has purchased this Indian company called Flipkart. So there are big deals. Big companies are coming into our country because they know the potential of our country. They know the business that they can do here in our country. Now this e-commerce still is just a small fraction of this brick or this physical shops and physical retail sector of our country. It is also expected, because we know that this revolution that was introduced by Jio, we are talking about this thing, isn't it, BSNL, and this era of BSNL and monopoly era of BSNL, and after that we saw this private companies coming in, and then there was a big, you can say, competition between private companies, and now we have introduction of Jio, and of course it has helped in penetration of 2G, this 3G and 4G, right? That's what it came out with, the 4G. So got a new revolution, very cheap, 1 GB or something per day. Earlier on, people used to get 1 GB for a whole month. So now data consumption has gone up. People are watching YouTube and learning so many things, so many apps, and there are so many things out there, and everything is supported by this cheap, you can say, reasonably priced access to data. At the same time, we find smartphones, the price of smartphones, because of this demand, production has gone up, and because of this production going up, this prices of smartphones have dropped. Now you find a good phone, I think around 10,000, 15,000 rupees, you will find a very decent phone that will do its job for a couple of years, if I'm not wrong, right? So all these things have created a sort of, you can say, a inclination towards this e-commerce, and businesses going very well. But this national policy on electronic commerce is trying to create a single national regulator. Now, the problem here is this word called regulator. Many times Prime Minister has said this thing, and this is right as well. We don't need regulators, right? We don't need someone to look after this business. We don't need a monitor or a sort of a person or a body that is telling us what to do and what not to do. What we need facilitators, right? That's what we need. Ease of doing business, open market, everything. Government, the main job of government as far as this economy is concerned, or business is concerned, or financial world is concerned, they should provide a good platform, and once they provide this platform, they should maintain this platform. That's it. Rules and regulations of this platform, or the game that will be played on this platform, should be left to this open market. Let the demand and supply decide what is right and what is wrong for customers, rather than government dictating it. So this is a thing. We have seen many complaints as well, e-commerce, because it's going up, so we are going to find many faults, and it's never going to be a perfect system. When you buy something from retail, then as well there are good things and bad things. The only problem here is that you cannot, when I say here, I mean to say e-commerce thing, you cannot physically touch that thing. But they are saying they are going to start this thing that they will, if you purchase some clothes, then they will allow you to have a feel, right? And then if you don't like it, then it will go back. So that's what they are working on. So this impulse that is required to touch and physically see, they are trying to fulfill this gap as well. Anyways, the most controversial thing that we find is this sunset clause. Now, what sunset clause is all about? Sunset clause means, sunset discount clause is capping discounts, right? One of the reason why this e-commerce companies are doing very well, because they provide very good discounts compared to what you pay for a similar product if you buy it from a shop. Not all items, but most of the times we find that there are good discounts available online, and because they don't have to store things, they don't have to run a big showroom, they don't have to pay for rent and variables and fixed expenses, so they can afford this discount. Rather than, this is how they do their marketing. But the thing is, what government is trying to say here is that government wants to cap it. Government wants to keep a certain percentage, that if something is you're trying to sell for 100 rupees, then you cannot sell it less than 90 rupees and things like that. Now, it is up to a person, right? If I can afford to sell a mobile phone for 1 rupee, then I should be allowed in an open market. That's how it should be, right? Because customer is the king. Demand and supply will decide, and this competition is not bad. Competition is in fact good and beneficial for the whole society and for consumers particularly. And we are talking about consumer prosperity. Remember, during this latest or the recent Consumer Day, Prime Minister talked about not only consumer justice but consumer prosperity. So it will come when we will allow open market to flourish in our country. At the same time, we are trying to push this foreign direct investment. We are saying that if you are investing in our country, then you need to use those products that are made in India. Now, this is going to be a bit difficult. Last Sunday we talked about import substitution. So, right, you can connect that import substitution discussion with today's this cap that government is trying to keep, and storing and processing data locally. That's what this draft is talking about. So if we want to store and process data locally, then this will mean that more expenses for e-com companies, and because to recover this expense, the prices of these products can go up. So this is again not a healthy thing for our e-commerce. And one thing that I would like to add here is that this e-commerce has created so many jobs. The physical thing that we see is that we see this delivery boy, right? But he's using a motorcycle industry going up. He's making phone calls and text messages. So this data service providers, they are making something out of it. You have this bag making companies, and also when one industry goes up, it will take with it many other industries as well. Now you have this article here. It is about data localization is no solution, and the reason why data localization is not a solution has been very well explained in this article. We have talked about this Justice Sri Krishna committee. It's about personal data protection bill, and there are many flaws with this Sri Krishna committee and its recommendation. The thing is that out of 10 most accessed websites, 8 are from USA. So all this data is going to USA, and it becomes a bit of trouble for our investigators. If there is any sort of crime, then it becomes a very difficult and lengthy process for our investigators to find out data from or to trace this activities by this person on that he or she has done online. Reserve Bank of India has also demanded that all this financial data should be stored at local level. Now the problem is we have this outdated mutual legal assistance treaty, MLAT. Now USA's law effectively bars these companies, website companies and data storing companies to disclose data. They are not allowed to disclose or share this data with foreign law enforcement authorities, and this thing is not going to change, right? If we are talking about personal data protection, if we are saying that we need to store all this data at local level, then imagine that Google will keep or build a storage house here, but when you will go there for your data, then Google will say no to you, because Google has to follow this mutual legal assistance treaty. The other thing is, when we say that when this committee, this Justice Sri Krishna committee is talking about storage of local data, and when it is talking about local data, it has just focused on Indian citizens only, right? That data pertaining to Indian citizens will be stored here. Foreigners or data associated with foreigners will not be stored here. So what about all those transnational terrorism and cyber crimes and money laundering cases that are going on, and to root them, to find their roots, and if you to trace their roots, we have to go through, we have to have access to this information, and if we are not having this information, then there is no point at all, isn't it? The other thing is this law that you find, USA has passed a law. It's called Cloud Act. Cloud is a clarifying lawful overseas use of data act. But you have one thing with this law. This act clearly states that if you are sharing data with a country, a foreign country that is seeking data on a particular item, then that country should have robust privacy protections. If that country is not having this thing, then this data will not be provided to that country. We have not talked anything about this robust privacy protection under this new draft that has been prepared by this Justice Sri Krishna committee. So we have missed many opportunities. We have given free hand to this police and other investigating agencies that they can have access to data, but from where will they get access if those data cannot be shared by these foreign companies? So we need to work on this thing. We have to talk about it. We have to discuss things that are necessary for it, so that we can qualify for this Cloud Act, and only then we would be able to get access. Because remember that 8 out of 10 companies or these websites that we access in our country on an average are from USA. Moving on to another item, it's you find this article here. See this one. This is about politics. You can drop this one if you like, right? It's not important for your examination. This article here, Wolf in Priest's Cloth. It's about a case of Kerala, confessions, and a lady was abused by 4 priests, and how this thing is destroying trust. And there are people who are saying that there is no point of having this system of confession. We need to get rid of it and things like that. But it's few cases we cannot blame this confession system that has been going on for a very long period of time. But of course, people who are, claiming to be priests, they should stay away from, means if they are claiming, then means the whole system, means it's a religious thing, isn't it? It is something that is associated with a particular religious institution. So of course we all want to see good people, right? Good priests who are genuinely concerned about well-being of each and every human being. It doesn't matter if that person is Christian or Muslim or Hindu. A priest, I think, should not discriminate, and a priest should not, of course, indulge in this sort of carnal desires and things like that. Now, again, I'm not expert in this subject. I will leave it on you guys to go through it. And the reason I'm saying expert is because religion and spirituality and all these subjects are, the nature of these subjects is so complicated. It is simple, but when two people are discussing this thing, it becomes very complicated. So I generally refrain from discussing this sort of things. I don't want to ever hurt anyone's feeling, and we all have our own beliefs, so we can have it, we can live with it. It's a very small life that we have. Now this yes no and it's complicated thing, it's about Imran Khan, and not that you can say important, because we know this thing, we have talked about this thing, that it was this the establishment that has supported Mr. Khan. So he is going to be a sort of puppet, you can say, of this establishment, and there are a few problems that are going on between India and Pakistan, which I'm sure we all are aware about. If you are not, then have a quick glance over this list here. Now, front page, we find that Supreme Court has clearly stated to the media people to stay away from this victims of rape at this shelter house in this Bihar's Muzaffarpur district. This is a very sad case, but what is going on is that media is asking questions repetitively, taking interviews and things like that, and this is creating, of course, this will create a big psychological scar on that young minds of these girls. So it's very right that Supreme Court has asked media to keep at distance. Muslim men's beard forcefully shaved off. 6 students booked for sexual abuse of junior and LPG agency worker beaten to death. These are 3 other items that you find in today's first page. I already told you about this thing, isn't it? That Rajnath Singh has assured that this SC/ST Act, these amendments will be passed in this session. And Prime Minister Narendra Modi had a telephonic conversation. He made this congratulatory telephone to this new Prime Minister of Pakistan, and both the leaders have decided, and they have talked about, they have expressed hope, and let's hope, right, that everything becomes all right between these 2 neighbors, because we don't want to see troubles. And just imagine if 2 countries are working together as friends. If you find Germany, France, England, all these countries were part of this World War II, and if they are working together, then why can't we work together? This is a question that we need to think about. Pakistan was supposed to have this 2016 SARC meeting, but that was cancelled because of Uri attack. China has said that this trade war is going to harm USA more than China. It's going to be detrimental for USA. That's what the foreign minister of China has said. The lady that you can see on your screen, her name is she is Prime Minister of New Zealand. Her name is Jacinda Ardern, and she is going to you can say carry her baby, newborn child, to next month's United Nations General Assembly, and this is a very positive message. That's what I am. That's how I am taking it, because there are people out there who believe that once a lady becomes a mother, she will become less productive and things like that. This is not right, and particularly we find this sort of things in this business environment. They ask these silly questions about whether you are married or not. particularly to girls, right? If you are married, then you find this sort of things that don't do baby planning or family planning now, and you need to inform us and all these things. So this is not right. Business is means they need to think about this thing, that they are operating in society, they are not operating in space, and this is a thing that is part of our society. If we don't have new generation coming in, then what you are going to do with your products? Federal Reserve, that is RBI of USA, has decided that it is going to keep this rate hike unchanged, or the rates will stick as it is. And then you have this weavers from Chirala. Chira stands for this, it's a word called sari, right? It's called Chirala. And then you have three items that is coming from Economic Times. You have this Niti Ayog's proposal that 15% of methanol will be blended with petrol. This will bring down cost of petrol, and import bill will come down, and other things. Then we are going to purchase, or we are looking forward to get this F-35 fifth generation aircraft or fighter jets from USA. And then you have this figure of total operational thermal and big hydroelectric power installed capacity of our country is 268 gigawatt, and you find that nearly 50% of this 268 is in three states of Gujarat, Maharashtra, and Chhattisgarh. This is your answer here. Here we go. This is your capital of Brazil, and there are 10 countries with which it is sharing its border. Today's question is, can you give me the name of the peninsula that you can see on your screen? And I have two questions for you. Go through it, download the file, and make sure you check out StudyIQ.com. Wonderful, exciting offers are going on at present. I'll see you all soon. Enjoy your studies. Jai Hind.